I hope you are all good and well. It's lovely to have you back here with me at Teacup Castle on Spill the Tea Loo this very wonderful afternoon. Guys, you will notice I am in fantastic form because it's match day. It's match day. Man United have a match this evening. It might only be pre-season, but I am very much looking forward to seeing a game of football, particularly because I missed the last one when I was away at the weekend. Also, the fact that this one's in Ireland, in Croke Park, against Leeds, it's going to be a really good match. But before we have all of that later on, we of course have a lunchtime stream to do. And you know the way normally our lunchtime streams, they're all about transfers, they're transfer shows, what transfers are happening with which clubs, etc, etc. And I'll be honest lads, this morning they're just posting a lot of news. So I was like, right, what will we do? What will we do with the teacups? And then I saw, it was like an epiphany. So Shem, if you would like to thank L'Equipe for this idea, because that's where it came from, I saw a story. And the story was about Spurs. And I thought, you know what? They've signed 6 senior players. Okay, they've signed 8 total, by the way. They've signed 6 senior players. But Spurs fans, like Shem, are not very happy. They want much more. I've seen many Spurs fans online saying, you know, we need more signings. We need more of a forward line. We need a forward line at all. What we've done is good, but we haven't addressed like one of our main issues. It's very, very important that we address the forward line. And there's sort of loose rumours, but nothing really concrete happening at the minute. Nothing seems to be moving. And I thought, right, well, when we did the show on Chelsea, everybody seemed to really enjoy themselves. Everybody came out of that show feeling like they knew a little bit more about the enemy. It was a highly enjoyable show. And I thought, why don't we do a show like that about Spurs? Let's see what's really going on with Spurs. Let's see what they've got and what they've not, what they might need, and why Spurs fans do seem to be genuinely quite concerned about the upcoming season despite signing 6 players. So that is what we're going to do. I'm thoroughly pleased with myself. I'm very much looking forward to it. It's exactly the same as the last one, guys. I've done a little bit of the numbers, but overall I haven't really looked at anything. We're going to be doing it together. We're going to be doing it together. Rose is laughing already. We haven't even started. And Rose is entertained. Gaz says the show Shem has been waiting for. I think Shem might put me on mute today. But really what I'm doing is backing up Shem's point. Shem has concerns about Spurs, and I think we should take those concerns very seriously and discuss what's happening at his club. I mean, actually I'm doing Shem a service here. This whole show is for Shem. And my entertainment, you know what I mean? But before we get stuck into it, let me make sure I am saying hello to the teacups. I do also have a little announcement. Remind me at the end of the stream. I'm going to write it down and I'm going to try and remember. Hold on. I have a little bit of good news. I've happy news at the end of the stream. Please do not let me leave without telling you. It's exciting. It's even more exciting than this show. So, let me see. Shem says, I'm leaving Teacup Castle ASAP as soon as I figure out how to get out of the damn dungeon. So you're here forever, basically. Right, let me say hello. So I see, of course, Shem. I see Ferris in the chat. Hello to Ferris. Thank you for joining. I see Daz. Hello to Daz. Obviously, Rose and Gaz are here for the entertainment factor. Rob Always United has sent us a super sticker. It's the Foxy. We have the blushing fox today. Thank you very much, as always, to Rob Always United. Very much appreciated. Our unofficial mascot here, the little Foxy. So thank you very much to Rob for that. So appreciated. Honestly, thank you very much. Africa King is in the house as well, as is Harold. Hello to Harold. All Boxed Up has arrived to the chat. Hello to you. And welcome to the Madhouse. Lovely Luke is with us, and Random, and Mama Flossie. And I'm sure I saw earlier on, no, it was you lot just having an owl natter. You lot having an owl natter. I think I've got everybody. Look at me go. I'm like lightning. All Voxed Up says, I haven't ready? Yeah, and I'm laughing. To Lou and all of you Man United fans, I say Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Bring it on. Bring it on, all boxed off. You're as excited as I am. I'm buzzing. I am buzzing for this match. It feels like a Premier League match, even though it's not, but it's Premier League opposition. And guys, if you've never been or seen Croke Park, I can guarantee you, with knowing nothing about what's happening there right now, I can guarantee you the atmosphere will be buzzing. Especially compared to, I can't get over, was it the Atletico Madrid one we watched together? And I was like, it's just dead. It's like a library. Tell you what, it's not going to be like that at Croke Park. By the way, for people that don't know, Croke Park is the third biggest stadium in Europe. It's a big stadium. It's 83,000. And as far as I know, it's completely sold out. Because when I went to look at the price of tickets, it was sold out. So it's completely sold out. And it's like 82,800 and blah, blah, blah. It's nearly 83,000, completely sold out. And we're all lunatics. And obviously it's so close to England. There's a lot of like local fans that are here as well as the Irish fans. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I hope everybody's ready for it. And the War of the Roses is Mama Flossie. No more wars on our land, please. We've had enough of them. We would like to stay away from the wars. The on the pitch kind of wars. All boxed up as unboxed us. You know what that means? You know what that means? All boxed up has unboxed us. That means it's time to talk about Spurs. Thank you very much to All Boxed Up. You've done it. You've done it. You've got us there. Thank you so much. Time to talk Tottenham. Whoa! Right, let's see. So the story that started it all. I saw a little story and it did come out yesterday evening, but I saw it this morning. And it was from L'Equipe. Tottenham have stepped up their pursuit of Falarin Balogun from AS Monaco. And I was like, what do you mean stepped up? I didn't know they'd stepped in, let alone stepped up. I didn't know there was a step. It was a baby step. It was a secret step. Why are all of Spurs targets like nobody's talking about them? This is the second one in 2 weeks where I've seen linked to Spurs, stepped up or an extra. And I'm like, what? When did the first step happen? But anyway, that's what I was thinking. Then Fabrizio swooped in. Where is he gone? I've lost him. But Fabrizio swooped in and basically said, nuh-uh. So let me find it where he just says that's lies. Let me see. Oh, come on, I've lost Fabrizio. What kind of a streamer am I? I've lost Fabrizio. Let me go find him again. Let me relocate him onto my screen. He was here just a moment ago. He's run away. That's how much he actually thought that was nonsense, was he literally just ran away. I've lost the post completely. There you go. So Fabrizio then came out after that and said, several clubs have called over recent days for Falarin Balogun, including Galatasaray and Saudi clubs informed on deal conditions from AS Monaco. Nothing concrete or advanced with Tottenham at this stage. So it's one of those like, do you know when you see the stories, Man United admire this player. Okay. And what? Are they going to do anything about it? Because if they're not, what's the point in telling me this? So it seems like Spurs admire him, but there's nothing concrete or advanced or actually happening. And also, there's offers coming in from Galatasaray and Saudi, which means big old money for both Monaco and for the player. So like, it's a something and nothing. And I thought, another something and nothing for Spurs. We need to talk about this. We need to see what's going on with them. So what I did was I went to the Spurs website for my sins, right? So I'm on the Spurs website. I navigated my way to the men's first team squad and I had a little look at who they have listed. And so this is exactly what we did with Chelsea. We're about to have the time of our lives, guys. Strap on, put your seatbelt in, let's go. So, on their men's first team squad, Spurs have listed 27 players They've also got 2 on loan. So the 2 on loan are Dragusin and Min Hayek, okay? But they're not included in the 27 because they're out on loan. So they've 27 listed. They've signed 6 who are not included here. So they've 27. We know they're only allowed of 25. Plus, they've signed 6 senior players. They've signed 8 total. 2 of them are juniors. 6 of them are senior. That leaves them with a total of 33 players. You're only allowed to have 25 guys. They're 8 over. They're 8 over the limit. So I understand Spurs fans are saying you need more attackers, you need a striker, you need da-da-da. And we've already had your manager, we've had De Zerbi come out and tell us we're only 60% of the way through our transfer window. We know we need more. We are going to get more. More is incoming. Well, if you're going to get more, you need to get rid of a whole heap of them because you are already 8 over the limit. The limit is 25. You've got 33. You're already 8 over. So you need to get rid of 8 just to be able to fit in the 25. If you then want to bring in an attacker, you have to sell 9 or 10. You'll have to sell 1 for every person you bring in. You're actually way over the limit. Not quite as much as Chelsea, but I mean, you're not quite as good at selling as Chelsea. So I actually think Spurs will struggle to move 8 on more than Chelsea will struggle to get rid of 17. And that's actually not even a reflection of Spurs. That's a reflection of Chelsea. But we're going to go through the squad because there are some that we know of that are potentially going to go out. You've obviously got some injured, which are still going to be listed in your squad, but are actually just going to be taking up space for the first instance. So we're gonna go through it one by one. But let me see. I see we have some new arrivals to the chat. So Africa King, these are not academy youth players. These are senior players. Let me reiterate for the people that were not listening when I said it 3 times. Men's first team senior squad. Senior players, 21 and over. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about academy players, okay? So that's irrelevant. That's completely irrelevant. There's no academy players included in that. They're all over 21. That's kind of the point. Moonshine is with us. Hello to Moonshine. Rose says, I'm crossing my fingers. She's going to ask Shem who's getting sold. His head might combust. I don't know if I can ask him that. I think he might have a heart attack. Hello to Dornell who has joined us. Welcome to the chat. Let me see. And you don't have enough homegrown, says Shem. Oh dear. I haven't even gone into that level of detail, but if we've time, we will. Mama Flossie says, please make sure to hit the like, guys. It is much appreciated. That it is. Very, very much appreciated. If you would ever so kindly hit the like button, I would be very grateful. Gaz is saying there's a lot of admiration for players this season. So much admiration all over the place. All admiration in all corners. It's just insane. Hugo Rose says, does a player that is chronically injured count against your player cap? If United use a player spot on Mount, I will actually be angry. Yes, they count. They count. Shem would rather I didn't ask. So let us get started, okay? Let us get started. What I will just say, right? At least on the Chelsea website, they list it per position. So they go goalkeepers, then they go defenders, then they go midfielders, then they go attackers, okay? So they do it in like a proper order. Spurs, on the other hand, list their players by number rather than position, which is actually a pain in the backside because you then have to do it yourself if you want to group it. So like, I have here Vicario, but if I want to go and see your next goalkeeper, I have to scroll all the way down to Kinski, who's number 31. Then I have to go to 40 to find Brandon Austin. So if you could have a word with the people that run your website, it would be much easier to look at and to evaluate if they listed them per position rather than per number. Very irritating. Anyway, you have 3 goalkeepers, which is fairly standard, which is pretty normal, and is already half the goalkeepers that Chelsea had. Sorry, let me go through before I start picking on on people. I have to mention the injuries. So, you've got 27, you've signed 6, you've got 33. Of those 33, Simmons is injured, but he's expected back in February of 2027. And that could be later because that's his expected return date. So it could be longer. He's not due back till February. So the season's most of the way over at that stage. Odegaard, he's due back November. So if he's not delayed and he actually comes back more or less, then all right, November's not the worst in the world. Kulusevski has no return date. They don't know when he's back. They've no idea, to the point where they literally won't even give a ballpark. Unknown is his return date. So there's 3 long term. You've got Kudus, who is listed as coming back soon at an unknown date. So I don't know how they can say soon if it's unknown. But Kudus is also out, listed as no return date, but soon. Don't know what that means, guys. And then Solanke, who hurt his ankle. Did he hurt his ankle in pre-season, Shem? Can you actually please confirm that? Because I was trying to make sense of what it was saying. And it said that he hurt himself in pre-season, but then played 45 minutes in pre-season, but he's being managed to build fitness because they don't want him to hurt himself more. So if you can confirm for me, please, Shem, did he hurt himself in pre-season, or was this a previous injury that they're sort of just testing out for 45 minutes? Either way, Solanke has a sore ankle for, again, an unknown specified period of time, but he seems to be the closest to actually playing some minutes. But that means of your 33, 5 of them are injured. So even if you would sell them, you can't. So there's 5 straight away you must keep. You do have, as I said, 3 goalkeepers. 3 goalkeepers is standard. That's pretty normal, I think. We always have 3 goalkeepers at United. As I said, it's already half the goalkeepers that Chelsea has. So your goalkeeping department isn't exactly overrun. However, we do know that Vicario is for sale, because the thought process is that Kinski is going to be your number 1 in the next season. I believe then followed by Brandon Austin. So I would imagine even if you do move on Vicario, who is for sale, as we are aware, but you would probably bring in another third one. You wouldn't stay with 2 goalkeepers for a season, would you? So either way, even if you take him out, you're putting somebody else in. So that's not somebody really gone. However, there are some other players that you look like actually selling maybe. So we're going to have a look at those. Austin is our Scott Carson. Always there but never plays because he's homegrown. You got Rose says 5 rostered injured players, that's 209 needed. 3 goalkeepers takes them to 17 spots left. Now you're starting to see the problem, Rose. Now you're starting to see the problem. There you have it. They've only got 17 to play with, to actually play with. Is that enough to field a squad and a proper bench? No. So, Shem also says, Shem's going to have a lot to say on this, which is wonderful. You mean Solanke, who at Bournemouth didn't have 1 injury previous that flared up. He was limping in the first game he played in pre-season. Understood. Understood. Moonshine is playing word games with sore ankle and Solanke. If you can just get rid of that pesky R, you're rocking. Let me see. All Boxed Up says, can I just draw your attention to the fact that poor Shem has been through all kinds of this shit for 2 seasons. This is prolonging his misery when the hierarchy do a half-baked job. The forward line, exclamation, exclamation, question mark. So, All Boxed Up showing some solidarity with our Shem. He's going to need it. He's going to need it. We've only just got started, guys. We haven't even listed the players. We're only on Vicario. He's number 1. Guest was having a snack and would like to say hello to everybody that she didn't say hello to previously. Let me see. Right, so let us talk. So Vicario is for sale, but would likely be replaced. So really, it doesn't matter. It's not going to actually reduce the number of people in your squad. Jed Spence does seem to be for sale. I don't know if you'd want to sell him, but I mean, you have got to get rid of 8 players. You have to get rid of 8. Otherwise, your squad literally doesn't fit. You must get rid of it. So you may end up moving Jed Spence on purely because there's interest in him and you have to sell somebody. He is out for sale. Romero, we know, is highly likely to go, looking more and more likely to Atletico by the day. So I'll give you that Romero will likely be gone. Bergvall seems to be for sale and not for sale. You have a price, and if the price is met, you're happy for him to go. There's rumours maybe Newcastle will come back. There's rumours of other teams that might come back. Will they, won't they? But you may end up having to accept a reduced price for him just again because you need space. So you need to get rid of 8. And if the only people that other clubs are interested in are Bergvall and Jed Spence, who maybe you don't even want to move on, but you need to make space, you might be left with no choice. If you can't get rid of anybody else who you would prefer to get rid of, you might not actually have a choice. You might end up having to get rid of players that actually you would genuinely prefer to keep, which is obviously a whole other problem in and of itself. Surreal, I can see that you have arrived late, so let me explain it for you. So Surreal has come in and said we should just sign the forwards first, then worry about getting rid of players after. If need be, just don't register the players that are surplus to requirements. The thing is, Surreal, that's just not realistic, because Spurs are not Barcelona. Spurs just aren't Barcelona, which means if players are aware there's a risk they won't be registered, they're not going to sign for your club. So while I understand from a fan point of view why you would say that, because you need attackers, just get them in, from a realistic point of view, from a club point of view, from an actual reality point of view, it doesn't make any sense. You are already 8 players over the limit. You can only have 25. You've already got 33. Who in their right mind is going to sign for a team that is already 8 players over the limit? Particularly when that team is not Real Madrid or Barcelona, when that team is Spurs. Nobody's going to do that. It's not the norm in the Premier League, and it's not realistic. So as a fan, I concur, that's what I would want my club to do. But in the reality of it, it doesn't make any sense. You're already 8 over the limit. If you sign 2 more, you have to sell 10. You have to be realistic about it as well. It's not going to happen. It's highly unlikely. And if you do, you're making your own life harder, and you're potentially creating a bad reputation then for signings going into the future, which damages you further in the long term, which you don't want. You don't want to do short-term damage or short-term gain to do long-term damage. Otherwise, you're going to stay in this cycle. So you need to look at who you're going to be able to move on. like realistically. So like we said, Spence potentially, because there's definitely interest. Romero looks all but gone. And maybe not Bergvall. Vicario will go, but will likely be replaced. So I don't think we can count him. So if we say 3 of those 4, that brings you down to 5. You need to get rid of another 5. So I'm going to go to a few more comments. Then we're going to go through the list and we're going to have to find 5 players that Spurs can loan or sell. That's out of this list. Now, let me see. Guess made sourdough, making everybody jealous. Everybody jealous. Africa King is saying Inter would be a great move for him. I assume you mean Jed Spence on that one. Africa King, it's definitely not Romero to Arsenal. That's already been debunked the other day. Jack is back with us. Hello to Jack Swagger, who says, big up Lou and the best chat on YouTube. Absolutely lovely to have you back in the chat, Jack. Yes, Roz, if you sign more forward, you have to sell more players after the fact. And I just don't think I don't know if you're capable of it. I don't think so, but you're going to have to be. You're not going to have much of a choice. You're about to get capable or be buggered. Danny has joined us as well. Hello to Danny. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Surreal says you need to keep Spence for your homegrown quota. Well, that brings you back up to needing to find 6 other players to sell. So let's say you have to keep Spence because Shem did also mention the homegrown quota. So let's say, okay, you can't sell Spence because you need him for homegrown. So you need to find 6 other players. So we're going to go through this and look at players that you might not sell. So, Danso, is there any possibility that you sell Danso? I haven't seen any links personally, but I'm not moving in the Spurs space. So let's have a little look at Danso. We're going to go through this one by one. We need to find 6 players. By the end of the show, we must have 6 players that Spurs can sell this window that are not going to damage their homegrown quota at the same time. So let's have a little look. Danso transfer rumours this summer, because we don't want old ones. Shem says, yes, you can sell him, but so far no links. Okay, well, that's not good, because if you have no links and we're the 12th of August, then unlikely to sell him. Yeah, so he's looking like staying. No speculation regarding him leaving or moving. Right, so Danso is staying. Then let's go next. You're not selling Simmons. He's injured till February. Conor Gallagher, you've literally just signed him. So he's not going anywhere. Richarlison. Many of you would like to sell Richarlison. And Bonkers there is saying, I've heard Richarlison could go back to Everton. And Everton are currently looking at all sorts of different players. And also, if you want to bring in an attacker, it does make sense to sell an attacker. But again, it's not one I've seen much news about. So let me see if I can find that story from Bonkers. So let's change Danso and put in Richarlison. Oh, I did spell it right. Go me. Highly uncertain. De Zerbi publicly admitted the 29-year-old striker is unsure whether he wants to stay or leave before the deadline. Final 12 months of his contract. Spurs would accept an offer of 25 to 40. I mean, that's a big gap. Apparently, Fenerbahce are interested. And apparently they submitted a bid even. Juve linked, Everton linked by Team Talk and Sky Sports, and also Saudi. There's loads of people interested in him. Right. So what is the stance? So, and they're willing to sell him. They're willing to sell, there's interest, and they want to bring in somebody in his position. So, let's give you Richarlison. Because I want these to be realistic, guys. I don't want it to just be, let's just sell everybody. I want it to be actual, genuine possibilities of them going. Otherwise, what's the point? So Richarlison could go. James Maddison. Is there any chance James Maddison goes? I feel like the answer is no already. I genuinely feel like the answer is already no. We're going to go through it, each one, guys. So we're going to do them one at a time and go through it. Surreal would like to get rid of Vicario, yes, but we've mentioned Vicario already. You've only got 3 keepers, so if you get rid of Vicario, there's a good chance another one comes in. Romero, I think, yes. Richarlison, I think, sounds good. And you were saying you would also like to sell Udogie, Sarr, Bentancur, Fairs, and Shem has gone in with his 6. Romero, so you agree on that. Danso is different. Bergval is realistic. You've both said Richarlison. You've both said Vicario. You've both said Udogie. Takai says Shem. And you've both said Sarr. Okay, so let me write down the ones you're both saying. You're both saying Sarr. You're both saying Romero, which we've mentioned. You're both saying, no, one of you said Danso, one no. Bergval we've mentioned already. Richarlison we've just said. Vicario I'm not counting because even if you sell him, I think you bring somebody in. Udogie, so I'll give you that. Who else? Takai, Sarr. Okay. So. Where does that leave us? Let us have a look. He's not officially captain yet, bonkers, but that was the story that was put out there. The story was he was going to be made captain whenever the announcement comes that Romero has been officially sold. So that's a good point. They're not going to sell him. Ah, yes, Shem. Yes. Excellent point. You've signed Dubravka. He's one of your signings, which means if you sell Vicario, he is actually going to come off the numbers because technically you now have 4. But that's what I mean. Those 6 players you've signed have not been put on your website yet. So actually, yes, to be fair, Vicario does count. You won't need to bring somebody in because you've already got Dubravka, which would bring you back down to 3. So yes, I'll give you Vicario. So out of the 6 you need gone, we've said 6. Why have we said 6? Oh, because you said that you don't think Jed Spence goes. So if we say 6, Richarlison and Vicario are both gone, right? So that gives you 4. Then Sarr and Udogie, are they both getting linked away? All right, let's look at Udogie. Because I know you want to sell him, but are you likely to sell him? Roma are keen. I don't trust Roma anyway because they were keen on Xerxes and look where that's got us. Spurs remain hesitant and are blocking his exit. So Roma made Udogie one of their priority transfer targets. Tottenham are rejecting their advances. Spurs are firmly blocking a loan exit. They prefer to keep the 23-year-old. So Roma made an offer for a loan with an option to buy, and Spurs immediately rejected the loan proposal. They view Udogie as an important part of the long-term squad under new manager Roberto De Zerbi, who's a big fan of the defender. So, sorry guys, I don't think we can put Udogie on the list because apparently he's a part of your long-term future and absolutely you are firmly rejecting proposals for him. So I don't think we can put Udogie on the list. Sorry guys, he's out. Let's check for Sarr. Is there any better news on Sarr? Sarr. He is considered for sale by Tottenham, so that's better news already than Udogie, with the club seeking a valuation of around £30 million to sanction his exit. Blah, 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 massive summer overhaul, blah, 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 blah. Sarr has fallen down the pecking order and is reportedly ready to say yes. So they want to sell. £30 million isn't a crazy price in this window for anybody, really. And he is willing to go. According to ESPN, Villa like the look of him. Brentford have registered genuine interest. Galatasaray. Okay, so we'll give you him because he wants to go, you want to sell him, and there's genuine interest from multiple clubs. So I will give you Sarr. We need 3 more. You guys said no to Jed Spence. I think you might end up selling Jed Spence. Let us see, because there's so much noise around him. You might not have a choice. Let's go back to the list, right? So Maddison, we reckon you're going to keep. Richarlison, we've said, can go. Mathis Tel, is he one of your injured players? Is he likely to stay, go? Is there rumours around Mathis Tel? Let us see. Tel. He will remain at the club this summer, despite widespread speculation. He was linked with a move away due to fears over limited playing time. However, a decisive pre-season chat and standout summer performances have completely locked down his future in North London. So Tel is staying. Tel is in. Okay, that brings us to Udogie, who, as we've just discovered, is essential to your long-term future and definitely not for sale or for loan. Archie Gray obviously isn't going anywhere. Bergvall, guys, what do we think of Bergvall? Will he go or will he stay? Will the price get lowered? What do we think of that? Let me see what you guys are saying. So Rob says Tel is looking really good. Surreal says, I don't rate Tel, but he's our only left-sided forward. And Africa King says Tel is staying. Africa King reiterating what we are saying. Shem says Tel is the only fit winger, right? So Tel for sure is staying. Long-term future for Udogie. He's going to keep the medical department busy. Gaz says that sounds a bit like Mason Mount. All Boxed Up says Maddison maybe won't go, but Spurs should get rid. He's injury prone. I agree with you, but I also think, yeah, he's probably not going. Udogie is always injured, says Shem. He plays a few games, then out for a month, then back for a few games. Surreal says, I'd be happy to get rid of Bergvall, but he counts towards the homegrown quota. So at the minute, we have in the maybe pile, I think Jed Spence might end up going. And in the maybe pile, we have Bergvall is being linked with moves away, but is part of your homegrown quota. So we're going to keep both of those on the maybe list, because what happens is by the time we get to the end, if we don't have 6 names that could really go, you may end up having to put Spence or Bergvall on the list, even if you don't want to. That's where you're going to end up with a problem. So we've put Bergvall with Spence on the maybe. Shem says Bergvall needs to go. He wants to leave and isn't good enough now. He could be in the future. Africa King says Bergvall maybe to Forest or Newcastle. Yes, so they're the links at the moment. Newcastle and Forest. I just don't think it makes sense with the rest of Newcastle's business this summer. They may end up coming from, but the rest of the business they've done this summer doesn't line up with Bergvall. Maybe it happens. Forest, literally, who knows? Not a clue. Odegaard is injured. He's not back until November, bonkers, so he can't be sold. Romero we've put on the sell list. He's already on the sell list. So we had 33 minus Vicario, Richarlison, Sarr, Romero. Okay, so that brings us, we need 2 more. We need 2 more. because I wrote Romero at the top of my page and not at the bottom. So 27 plus 8 plus 6. 37. I'm going to start that sentence again, guys, because I have forgot basic maths. I was like, 27 plus 8 is 35. Why am I getting 33? It's because 8 need to be sold. So you have 27 plus 6 is 33. 8 need to go. We've written down Richarlison, Vicario, Sarr, Romero. That's 4. So you need 4 more to go, guys. Sorry, I thought we were closer than we were. I don't know what's wrong with me. My brain is just completely broken. 27 plus 6 is 33. You need to get to 25, so you need to sell 8. We've written down 4. That means we need 4 more. Woohoo! I'm like Albert Einstein. What in the name of God? I feel like, does that ever happen, guys? Do you ever feel like you've just glitched? My brain just completely went, bleh. Love it. Right, so we've put Romero on the list. So Lanky has a sore ankle. So you're probably stuck with him. As much as I'm sure you would like to get rid of him, if you're going to get rid of Richarlison and you've got Solanke with the sore ankle, I don't know if you could get rid of him as well. Mohamed Kudus, he's on the injured list with no return date, so you can't sell him. Kulusevski on the injured list, no return date, so you can't get rid of him. Pedro Porro, I absolutely just can't see you selling whatsoever. I think that would be off the wall. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I just don't see that, so I'm going on. Jed Spence, we've already put on the maybe list. Kota Takai. I've never heard of this young man at all. I did see Shem mention him as one of the players you'd be happy enough to get rid of. He's 21 years of age, he is a defender, and he has played in 2 friendlies. He started 4 matches overall in his entire career. 2 of them were friendlies this summer. Tell me, might you sell him? Might you loan him? Could he be a loan? Could Kota Takai not be a sale? Could he maybe be a loan? Because you've got Senesi, you've got Van de Ven just signed a new deal. How many backups do you have? Like, could Kota Takai be at 21 years of age? Could he go on a loan to try and gain some experience? Because that would get him off your 25, but without selling him. So let me know what you think might happen with him. All Boxed Up says, I have said to Spurs fans during last season and since that Spurs should get rid of all those involved in the past 2 seasons in a mass clear out. Hierarchy are frightened into a cull, but they have stalled. Essentially, what you think Spurs should do is what Newcastle have done. Essentially. So, just putting that out there. Often, says Rob, he glitches often. Guess also can't do basic maths if people are watching. I just don't know what's happened. Yes, I'm aware he's a centre-back Africa King. I'm asking about what might he do this season, not where he plays. Paige says, I glitch every day. It's a default setting at this point. Shem says, thank you. So Shem is answering me. Kota Takai, he's a Japanese defender of the year, came to Spurs, was injured and out for a long time, had then been on a couple of loans and didn't do anything. Right. So surely you're not gonna keep him. Surely he gets re-loaned or sold. Like, it makes no sense to keep him. So I'm putting him, Kota Takai, on your list. Kota Takai. And I'm going to say, even if we say loan from, even if we say a loan, he's 21. He's done really nothing. You've got defenders. I just think he goes on loan. Odegaard can't go anywhere because he's injured. Sarr we've already got on our sell list. Bentancur. So, I think Surreal put him on the list for sell. Is he linked anywhere, Bentancur. I haven't seen them. It doesn't mean they're not out there because I don't seem to get Spurs news on my timeline for some reason. So let's see, are there any rumours about Bentancur? They're reportedly open to listening to offers. He remains a valued asset, but a major midfield overhaul is underway, and so his future is uncertain. Diego Simeone admires him, but Atletico Madrid are already in for Romero, so I don't think they come in for Bentancur as well. AC Milan and Barcelona have made exploratory contact. Galatasaray and Fenerbahce have expressed firm interest but no official bids. And you've got a crowded midfield, having added Sandro Tonali, Mateus Fernandes. You've already got Conor Gallagher. Archie Gray isn't going anywhere, but you might get rid of Sarr. But he signed a long-term contract extension. So it would be more about squad clearance rather than him coming to the end of his deal. I don't know, guys. That seems a bit wishy-washy. There are rumours, but that seems very wishy-washy. That doesn't, to me, read as if anything is going to materialise. He might go, he might not. There's sort of loose interest, but he's on a long-term contract and it's a bit wishy-washy. We'll put him on the maybe, but I think that's a bit wishy-washy. I actually think it's more likely that Spencer Bergvall would go ahead of him just because there's more solid, genuine interest, if that makes sense. But we'll see. We've put him on maybe. Roz said, I thought United had huge injury issues. Appears they aren't alone. Oh, Roz, you better believe Spurs have the worst injuries of everybody. I did, if you're at a loose end, Roz, you'll find it interesting. I did a live show, got it maybe a couple of months ago now, about all of Spurs' injuries. I would highly recommend, if you want to feel better about Man United's injuries, I would highly recommend you go and watch that show about all of Spurs' injuries, all the ACLs. I mean, the amount of their players that have knee injuries is incredible. It will make you feel so much better about Man United. Definitely go watch it. I can't remember what it's called, but it's obvious. The whole show was about Spurs' injury, so it'll say something like that in the title. Yeah, my brain just went bleh. I mean, I think that's a very good spelling of that word all boxed up. Lucky's in the chat. Hello to Lucky and welcome. And Pedro Porro only just signed a new contract. Yeah, I didn't think he'd be going anywhere anyway, to be fair. He would not be on. If I was making a list of players I thought would be leaving Spurs, which we are, he's not on it at all. Right, so Bentancur I've put on maybe. Kinski is going to be your new number one, so he's not leaving. Ben Davies, guys. Ben Davies. Tell me. Ben Davies. Will he stay or will he go? A team full of Mason Mounts. Trust me, you got Rose, trust me. When you watch that, I'll see if I can find it. When you watch that, you will genuinely feel so much better about United's injuries. Don't get me wrong, we do have some. We definitely do have some. But trust me, what Spurs are going through at this moment in time with injuries and last season is despicable. It is despicable. If anybody has that link, guys, because I'll be honest, I have no idea how long ago I did that. I know it was really bad though. Poor Spurs. I don't pick on them. I'm just telling you the information. But it's out there. It'll be just on the live playlist. I can't remember. It was before the World Cup. So start there before the World Cup. But if anybody has it, or anybody has the link or can find it quicker than me, please throw that in the chat for Rose, because trust me, it'll make your day so much better. You will feel so much better about Man United if you watch it. Really and truly you will. Trust me. Trust me. So someone you shouldn't trust would say, isn't it? Let me see. Oh, I don't know. Definitely before the World Cup. That's the starting point. Let me see. We don't have about 2. Africa King. Africa King says we have about 2, which is just totally factually incorrect. Like, completely incorrect. So, Sesko, our striker, injured. Darlow, our new keeper, recovering from an operation, out injured. We've had Mason Mount on and off, out injured. We have had the other wee chap, but that's 4. Straight away, that's 4. So, which is double your 2. And who am I forgetting? It'll come to me in a minute. I'll think of it in a minute. And Ugarte. Why would I not count Ugarte? He's a senior player listed in our 25-man squad who's injured. Why would you? You can't just say random things to suit your own opinion. There's factually more than 2 players from United's senior squad out injured. Like, that's a factual statement. So, saying I don't count Ugarte, fair play to you. The Premier League do. So do you know what I mean? Like, I just think you can have whatever opinion you want, but your opinion doesn't change fact. Your opinion doesn't change fact. You stated we have about 2. Well, we have double that. So we don't have about 2. It's just incorrect. It's factually incorrect. That's not an opinion. It's an incorrect statement. So there's no point in just arguing for the sake of it. Sorry, there was more than I realised. Like, just get over it. There's no need to be so argumentative. Anyway, Ben Davies. Shem says, Ben Davies is a lifer. He's staying and he's getting his coaching badges. Cool. So Ben is staying. Ashley Phillips, isn't he gone? Isn't he gone? I'm sure he's gone. Like, was he not sold the other day? I know it was off and on and off and on, but then did Sky not say that was done? It was going, and then it was on pause, and then it was going, and then it was on pause, and then I thought I saw Sky Sports said it was back on again. So there was a deal fully agreed with Middlesbrough. Then there was the pause, which we discussed about. Okay, and we didn't know at the time why. It's to do with injuries. So it's to do with injuries flagged during the medical. That's why it was on pause. Not cancelled, but paused. They're deciding whether to restructure it. But there are other teams interested in him. Sheffield United being one of them. So I think he goes. Even if he doesn't go to Middlesbrough, I think he goes. Because, I mean, he's 1.5 feet out the door at this point. So I reckon Ashley Phillips is going. We'll put him down. Ashley Phillips. Because he's either going to Borough or Sheffield. I think Stoke we're in from. There's loads. There's absolutely loads. Was it an Under the Spotlight, says Flossie. It might have been, you know. I really don't remember. I've no clue, Flossie. I really don't. That was a really good one too. I mean, there was the Spurs top brass are confused on and off the pitch. I didn't realise how often I go in on Spurs. That's actually dreadful. It might have been that one. I don't know. I actually don't know. And it was such a good stream. I'll have to have a look for that at some point. It had to have been after the season finished. It must be that Under the Spotlight one. Confused on and off the pitch. I mean, that sounds like something I would say, doesn't it? Yeah, I think it might be that one, Flossie, because it was before the World Cup and after the season. So it has to be that one. Or did I do it when Simmons picked up his injury? Because remember they walked him off the pitch. They tried to get him to jump up and down on his ACL injury, and then we're like, oh, but that didn't make it worse. So it actually might have been after Simmons got injured. And then I looked at all their injuries. Things are a mess at Spurs. I didn't realise, genuinely, how often I talk about how messy things are at Spurs. That's really bad, guys. Sorry, Spurs. Right, we've put Ashley Phillips on the sell list. That leaves us with Richarlison, Vicario, Sarr, Romero, Takai, Phillips. Okay, so that's 6. We're going to need 2 more. We are going to need 2 more for this list, okay? Van de Ven obviously staying, just signed a new contract. Brandon Austin staying because that will leave you with 3 keepers. That leaves us with Sousa and Dane Scarlett. So let me know, Sousa and Dane Scarlett, are they likely to stay, go, be sold, be loaned? What is happening with them? Sousa is only 20 years old. That still means he will still qualify because of his date of birth for being over 21. The cut-off date, remember we went through the cut-off date with Chelsea. His birthday's in June. So he will have missed the cut-off, which means he will count. He's a left back. He might go on a loan, maybe. Yeah, Bonker says on loan. So we'll give you that. We will give you Sousa on loan, which leaves us with Dane Scarlett. What do we think? Scarlett needs to go, says Shem, but he's homegrown. Sousa is still young, will probably go on loan. So we've put Sousa for loan. Dane Scarlett's 22. He's young, but he's 22, like, he's not young. He's played 46 matches in his career. He's only started 3 of those. He has been playing in your friendlies. And as you say, you need homegrown. So let's put him. That means on the maybe list, we now have to pick one from the maybe list that's going to go. And that will just bring you to 25. You would then have to get rid of more to bring in. So as it stands, you need rid of 8. We have put Richarlison, Vicario, Sarr, Romero, Takai, Phillips, and Sousa, whether they be on permanent transfers or loans. That's what we've put. That is 7. So from these, we need to pick one more. Bentancur, Jed Spence, Bergval, Dane Scarlett. Of those, one more has to go, whether it be on loan or sold, just to get you to 25. I think Jed Spence, guys. I think there's so much rumours around it. Could be Jed Spence. Now, I understand maybe Bentancur, if a big offer comes in from, maybe Dane Scarlett will go on a loan or something if he's not getting first team games with you guys. But if you need him for your homegrown, it means the striker or one of the attackers you bring in, you'd need to bring in somebody homegrown. So of those 4, Bentancur, Spence, Bergval, Scarlett, who is most likely to not be there next season? Shem says this is why I'm in therapy. Best transfers is all boxed up would be a whole medical team on a free. Luis is saying, reports in Spain say Barca want Porro. Makes no difference. Porro won't be for sale and he's just signed a new contract. Porro definitely is one of the ones that will not be going. Grace is joining us. Hello to Grace. Hope you are good and well. Exactly right, Roz. We're speaking about Spurs right now. Bear with me a sec. Hello, Smithy. Welcome back to the chat. Okay, so nobody has any thoughts on what I've asked. We're talking about random stuff. Grace says, isn't Spence going to Inter Milan? He's been linked to a few different clubs. He's been linked within the Premier League and outside of the Premier League. I think he's the most likely. So let's put Spence. Let's put Spence on that list. That means that would bring you to 25. You would only get to 25 if you got rid of Richarlison, Vicario, Sarr, Romero, Takai, Phillips, Souza, and Spence, or one of those others we mentioned. To then bring in more attackers, which you say you need, which you do need, I believe you, you would also have to get rid of more. On top of that, you would have to get rid of Scarlett, or Bergvall, or Bentancur, or multiples of them, or you actually can't bring in a forward because they're not going to be able to play, and then it's pointless. This is going to be tough for Spurs. Can I just remind you, it's the 12th of August, and that's how many players that you need to get rid of just to fit the 25-man squad. To then bring in attackers, you need to get rid of more of them. You're like, that is really concerning. And given that five of those spots we said are being taken up by injuries? 3 of them long term, Kudus with no return date, Solanke seems to be a bit of a mount, injured, not injured. So 5 of those spots are taken up by injured players. Do you not register Kulusevski? Because you don't know when he's coming back and he's been injured for so long. Do you not register Kulusevski in order to be able to bring in an attacker? You might be ending up looking at tough decisions like that, guys. Bonker says, just put Spence on the list. He's going. Smithy says, I want to keep Spence. He's our only decent fullback. The thing is, a lot of your fans seem to want to keep him, but it's going to come down to who you're actually able to move on. You might not have a choice. It may end up being Bergvall. You may end up sending Dane Scarlett out on a loan, but just to actually fit the maximum for the squads is going to be so much work. To then be able to bring in more on top of that, I thought you were just looking for more money to buy players, but I actually think you're also looking for the space for them as well now. Shem says, don't worry, we have the geniuses that are called Wet Lettuce and Lange and the Arsenal secret spy Vinay taking care of it. Surreal says, I'm regretting spending £60 on a Spurs membership now. I wanted to give our owners the benefit of the doubt, but they always screw up. I feel a right mug. I wouldn't feel a mug, and I suppose that is coming from like a United fan who we've had this sort of hate-hate relationship with our owners for quite a period of time now. And there's this thing of you don't want to give the owners the money because they don't deserve it and they shouldn't have it, and you don't want to give them a penny. And there's also the thing of not wanting to let somebody prevent you from loving your club in the way that you want to love it, to prevent you from supporting your club in the way that you want to support it. So it's the thing of not wanting to give money to the ownership who you don't respect and don't rate and don't trust, and wanting to support and love your club in the way that you should be free to do as a fan. And it's very complicated. It's very complicated. So don't feel like a mug. There's plenty of fans that hate their ownerships and still give money or do things that give money to the ownership because they want to support their club. And it's a case of, does your love for your club, like for some people, how much they hate their owners is a measure of how much they love their club. Some people it's different. It's a case of, does your love for your club outweigh your hatred for your ownership? It's a really complicated situation. And I don't think anybody can judge anybody else on how they deal with those situations, whether it be Man United or Spurs or anywhere else. It's so complicated and it's so personal and it's so individual. I don't think you should feel any two ways about it. You do what feels best for you. You do what's best for you, because honestly, how we support our club is so individual to everybody. I don't think anybody gets to judge, if I'm honest. Let me see. I do think that brings us more or less to the end though, guys. Do we think, this is my last question, I suppose, on the subject. Do we think Spurs' situation with their squad is more or less concerning than Chelsea's situation? Which situation do we think will be resolved more quickly and more easily? I feel like, even though it's smaller numbers, I feel like Spurs' situation feels more difficult or more extreme, because I feel like Chelsea are equipped to deal with this kind of crisis. Spurs, I don't know if they are. We're about to find out. But I feel like even though the numbers are smaller, the situation at Spurs feels worse. And to be fair with Chelsea, at least the players they're going to keep, the 25, they're not all like they don't have 5 long-term injury-prone players included in that 25 that brings them actually down to 20. So while it's a Wild West situation at Chelsea, I actually do think it is worse at Spurs, if I'm honest. But what do you think? What is your final say on this? Because we're going to end the show after this. So what do you think? Africa King says Chelsea will get what they want due to the image rights they have with their players and contracts and relationships. I'm not sure what that has to do with selling their players though. All Boxed Up says, despite all the initial highly cautious optimism of Spurs fans, or rivals, despite their signings, I'm worried for Spurs doing anything this season, and many teams are wanting forwards across the board. Fair comment. Shem says, we are a mid-table team who could be battling relegation if these geniuses keep running this club. I mean, that's tough. It's so hard when there's it's outside your control. There's so little fans can do. You are quite powerless. But guys, on that very happy note, sorry Spurs, we are going to end the show. Obviously, we won't have a 7 p.m. show this evening because we are going to be doing a live watch-along from Man United versus Leeds pre-season, Croke Park. I think it kicks off at 7:30, so we'll probably be live from about 7:20, I would say, give or take. Hopefully, I will see you all there. Thank you all very, very much for being here, for getting involved, for giving your comments, for helping drive the chat. Special shout out, as always, to Rob Always United, to All Boxed Up for their very generous super stickers. Thank you for your time, your likes, your involvement. Hopefully, the announcement, Rob. Good man, Rob. I forgot. I completely forgot. So, you have been asking me the question. When are we doing pre-season predictions? And I keep telling you all, I need to speak to Kai. I've spoke to Kai yesterday. We are going to do pre-season predictions, Lou and Kai, the 20th. It's a Thursday. It's the day before the season kicks off. Lou and Kai from Behind the Dugouts, pre-season predictions, the 20th of August. That's when it's happening, guys. Get ready for the mayhem that is the Lou and Kai live show. Box off your evening, guys, on the 20th. Because knowing me and Kai, we're going to have to catch up. Then we're going to have to try and do predictions. It's probably going to be about 6 hours long. So hold on to your hats, book the evening off, don't make any plans. I don't know what time we're going to start at. I do need to double check that with Kai. Probably around 7 o'clock, maybe a little earlier if he's not working. But it's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited already, guys. It's more exciting than the season. But thank you for reminding me, Rob, because I genuinely would have forgot. Have a good one, folks. And